Good afternoon and welcome along to day 4, quarter-finals day of the London Squash Classic 2025, presented by Bassim Haidar. It's a gold event on the PSA Squash Tour, the start of the 2025-2026 season. We're in London for the first part of September. We move on to the Egyptian Open very shortly. That starts on the 8th of September. Peter Marshall and Lisa Aitken joining me here in the studio. And what a start to quarter-finals day. Breaking news that Olivia Weaver has pulled out. She's withdrawn from the London Squash Classic due to an injury. Lisa, what more do we know on this hot story?
I don't know too much about it, to be honest, in terms of the injury, the specifics of the injury itself. All I know is it's a sad blow to the tournament to have the #1 seed out on quarter-finals. It's a massive day of squash. We've got a lot of people coming to watch her play today, but more sad for her, of course. Yeah. It's the start of the season. She's put in a massive shift, as everyone has over summer. She wants to kickstart the season, you know, in really good form, and it's very disappointing for her, but hopefully, I'm just hoping that she can sort it out before Egypt, Pete, because that's just next week.
Yeah, I mean, she must be massively disappointed. She was playing so well at the end of last season, really looked like she could even make another breakthrough to that top 2, so yeah, it's going to be real disappointment, but I'm just really hoping it's a minor injury and she can get back next week.
Yeah, we're hearing she has been for an MRI scan. If we hear any more on that, then we'll let you know. But a speedy recovery to Olivia Weaver. We lose our #1 seed, Amina Orfi, Naila Killis, the likes of. They'll be chomping at the bit now. They know they've got a bit of an opportunity as well. So how will they be feeling having heard that news as well? Naila Killis won't play her quarter-final today. She gets a bye through to the next round.
Yeah, which she'll take that, of course. She'll be in the semi-finals of a gold event. It's absolutely brilliant in terms of her being able to push her ranking up back inside the top 10, but she'll want to play.
Yeah. Knowing
Naila and knowing what type of person and player that she is. She had a rest day yesterday. She had a tricky one against Grace Gear, so I actually think she'd prefer to play today.
So here's an interesting graphic for you. At the beginning of this event, we were telling you about the top 8 seeds here and how they did against the big 3, the likes of Nouran Gohar, Nour El Shabini and Hania El Hamami, who aren't at this particular tournament, but will feature at the Egyptian Open. We've now lost 4 of those 8 seeds, Peter, and that makes for very different reading, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, for me, there's a couple of things stand out. One is how strong the women's game is now, just to show that there's so many upsets. And I think also, first tournament of the season, you probably do get a few more surprises. Everyone's just finding their feet, had a big summer's training, and you know, I think there could be some more surprises. So yeah, not unsurprising that this is the case.
Lisa, anything stand out there from just from seeing the graphic like that once again?
2 things stand out to me. We've still got the defending champion, Siva Sangari Subramaniam, in the running, and also Amina Orfi's in there as well. The #2 seed, she's got a brilliant opportunity to close that gap on the top 4.
Satomi Watanabe first in action today on the glass court, getting started at 1 p.m. against Tesni Murphy. Tesni Murphy has just had a great run. She's won that British Nationals for a 3rd time, and then she's also just had that great victory here as well against Tina Gillis. Abelkir, sorry, well done, thanks for the correction.
Yeah, I mean, a brilliant start to the season for her as well. She's here relatively on local soil. She's got her coach, Alison Waters, a former world #3, with her here in the backyard. So I think it's been an excellent start to the season for her. She's pushing on what you could say is one of the veterans now on tour. She's certainly got a wealth of experience. I love that matchup between her and Feyrouz Abelkir, just showing exactly what she's still capable of. I actually think she was able to bring... She's kind of enhanced her super strengths over the summer. She's very skillful and deceptive and likes to hold. And watching her at the British Nationals, I really thought she'd tapped right into that super strength, which is great to see.
Thoughts on Tesni, Peter?
I heard an interview for the British Close actually saying that she's in a really nice position in her career. She's not putting too much pressure on. She's probably coming towards the end of her career, so I think mentally she's in a really good place, and I think that can really help her. Sure, it'll help her today and it'll help her in the next few tournaments as well. Yeah,
I think she knows what she wants to get out of her last season or a couple of seasons. I don't know when she's going to retire, but she's content within her life. She's married. She knows a little bit about what she wants her future to look like, where she wants that to be. She's happy with what she's achieved in the game of squash. So being able to play from that place of peace and just let it all unfold when you get out there on stage is a good place to be.
So tell me, Watanabe is going to be a fierce opponent though, isn't she, in this first match of the day?
Yeah, she definitely is. And Satomi won the Asian Games as well 2 or 3 weeks ago, so she's also coming into this tournament with really good form. Interestingly, they train, because I play at Roehampton as well, they train with each other quite regularly at Roehampton, and I think Alison Walters is the coach of both of them as well, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see whether Ali just keeps out of the coaching today or whether she kind of goes and has a word with Ireland.
She'll be impartial, I feel, for this one.
Can you do that, or are you sort of rooting for one player or the other? Presumably that. I mean, that's got to be tough for Alison, hasn't it?
It will, but I'm sure she'll sit back and enjoy the squash, and whoever wins, wins.
Oh, middle ground. Now you've been catching up with Jasmine Hutton earlier today. We're really excited to hear what she had to say after her victory. She's another one of the quarterfinalists that we'll see later in the day, but here's what she had to say to Lisa earlier on.
Jazz, thanks for joining us after your practice today. Brilliant win yesterday, getting a victory over Tina Gill. It's not the first time you've beaten her though. Tell me, how do you feel after that, and what's exciting you about what's coming up?
No, I'm really happy to get the win yesterday, and yeah, I played her a few years ago in sort of a deciding match for England in the final of the Europeans in 2022, so I knew I was capable of beating her, and the last couple of times we played I'd taken a game and it had been a lot closer, so I knew I was capable of it yesterday, and I just had the belief, so I was really happy to have won it.
And we spent the summer in Florida together, training there. That was your third summer with Will El-Hindi. Tell us why Florida and why Will?
Third summer, and yeah, we had a great time, great 6 weeks. It was the longest stint I've done over the summer. Absolutely love it over there. It's very, very different way of life, and I think that's quite nice, and it's quite nice to have a different change of scene to at home. But it's now starting to feel like another home from home, so it's very special to me, and I just love the way that YL thinks, and his approach to the game is so different to a lot of other coaches I've worked with.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Obviously I've witnessed that firsthand myself, but what is it about him? What is it about his approach, the way he trains you?
He trains us like, it's brutal training, but he understands, when to tone it down a bit, but I don't know, it's just the way he approaches it is so different, and it's all very much based on each one of us, I feel, and like how he wants us to approach the game differently. So for me, he wants me to be, attacking and just learning so many different shots and different things that I've never learned before. So it's quite an exciting aspect and new part of my game.
And you said Florida's obviously a different way of life. There's plenty of sea, sun and sand. Give the viewers back home a little insight as to what a rest day looked like for us there.
It is stunning, absolutely stunning. I'd wake up, probably get a matcha, get an acai bowl, and then sit on the beach for most of the day and read a book. So can't get much better than that, really.
Quarterfinals of a gold event, looking ahead at the season as a whole, obviously you're inside that top 20 now. What is your biggest goal this season?
It's so hard to not just be results based. I think I'd really like to say to myself, I want to break top 15, break top 12 and stuff, but I just think if I get those scalps under my belt, I think the results and the ranking will take place in itself. So it's just, I just want to get more scalps and beat more of these top girls.
Well, good luck today, and all the very best for your season.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with Jazz earlier. She's in action against Siva Sangari Subramaniam, the defending champion. They're sixth on court, which is the evening session, so expecting them around 6:45 this evening. We'll see Jazz there. That sounds like a nice lifestyle over in the US, and great, I guess, recovery, good for your mind, great for your body.
Certainly at my age, Michael, 35, been able to wake up in the 30-degree heat and already be semi-warm for your practice session. Listen, I loved it. It was hard mentally and physically. I think each and every one of us got out of it what we wanted to, but there was a nice group of us there, and what's not to love about Florida?
Is that an area of the game that's changed, Peter, where players are now going abroad to train? They're going off to Egypt and learning from the world's best. They're going off to the US, where the game is just growing at a rapid rate of knots.
It seems that way, and I think it's a great thing for people to travel around, get new experiences. I mean, if I was a young player now, one of the first places I would go is Egypt and train there.
Why is that? Why would you choose?
Just because that's where the best players are. So I'd have a very simple mentality and think I'll go and train where the best are. But going to just getting different experiences. Having an Egyptian coach for an English player, I think that's really interesting. Obviously, like you just mentioned as well, training in the good weather, I think that's a really big bonus, a really big help as well. So yeah, it's good that players are thinking a bit outside the box.
I think obviously it was Wael El Hindi. He's the reason why we all went there, and it just so happens to be in Florida. But just going back to your point there, I spent a year in Egypt as well. I absolutely loved it. There's an abundance of players there. It's excellent to get an incredible amount of match practice. I think it's very specific to what you need at that moment in your career, whether it's a training spell, or is it some technical, is it some tactical analysis, or is it simply some match play. So I think players are tuning into that a lot more now, and that's what determines where they end up in the world.
It's already lighting up on social media. What are the sunglasses about? People wanted to know in the interview.
You'd have to ask Paul Johnson about that.
Are they PJs, are they?
It's very bright out there.
Yeah. Okay. And then I heard a story about a Milky Way. You sort of bumped into Jazz Hutton at the snack station at the hotel last night.
She does love a Milky Way. Yeah, the vending machine's empty now. She's taken all of them. So don't be wanting a Milky Way tonight.
Great stuff. Peter, what was your sort of athletic diet like back in the day? Was that another area of the game that players focused on, or is that another area that has changed massively, that sort of conditioning of the body?
I think people were wary of the diet in my day, but again, it's something that's really progressed. I think now people are really aware of kind of have a mixture between kind of carbs and protein and recovery drinks as well. I think all of that is improving all the time.
Okay, well, Jasmine Hutton safely through, as we said, to the quarterfinals this evening to face Siva Sangari Subramaniam. This was her in action in round 2. She's the England number 2. Gina Kennedy sadly out of the tournament, having lost yesterday, but this is that great victory against Tina Gillis earlier on in the tournament. She's the European champion, of course.
Yeah, this was a fantastic start for Tina Gillis, as you said, coming in as European champion, coming in as the higher ranked seed here as well. Hutton was actually a little bit all over the place, and she'll not mind me saying that. She was very erratic. She was a bit wild in her hitting. She was over-hitting a lot and rushing. She wasn't really thinking about what shots she wanted to play, what patterns she wanted to play, and it was all about the Belgian. But then after that, Jazz Hutton, she really grew into it, Pete. I mean, I don't know if you saw just how much she improved her squash and her shot selection.
Definitely, you can see from the last couple of runs there, she was really controlled in terms of her length hitting. The ball wasn't coming off the back wall, and she's got that deadly forehand as well. Anytime the ball comes on the forehand, players are extremely wary.
Dominant in the third game as well. They're taking that 5-love, 6-love lead and then just going over the line. And there's the emotion at the end of it, and taking out one of the other seeds here at the tournament. So as I said, Jazz Hutton in action around 6:45 this evening as part of the evening session. Do you think she can win that match against Siva Sangari Subramaniam? Where might she come unstuck? She'll be feeling confident.
She'll be feeling confident, and as we saw against Tina Gillis, she's got the home crowd here. She's got her friends and family in support, and we were chatting about that earlier, won't we? It makes a difference.
It does make a difference, and it can go either one or two ways. It can be a positive or negative, but obviously it's been a real positive for Jasmine. So I think today, I'm sure she'll be feeling she's got nothing to lose. All the pressures on her opponent, and she's going to come out flying.
Okay, so going to win it. Do you want to stick your neck out and give us a prediction on that one?
No, I'm not going to give you a prediction on that one. But I think
sitting on the fence today.
I think it will go all the way to the wire.
There'll be uproar on social media.
I hope so.
Now, I caught up with a fellow Scot earlier today. My interview was with Georgia Adderley, another player that got a stunning victory yesterday afternoon. Georgia, congratulations. Great victory yesterday against Gina Kennedy. Quarterfinals day today. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm buzzing. Yesterday was a great day. I really enjoyed myself out there. Was really proud of myself, proud to get the win, and I feel really excited about today. I feel like I can give it a good shot. Great venue, great location, and obviously you're the Scottish number 1 at the moment as well. But Amina Orfi today standing between you and a semi-final place. So how do you approach this match? Yeah, I mean, she's a really phenomenal opponent. She's had an amazing season, and I played her at the British Open in June, and I had a really tight third game. I had game balls in the third, and I'm actually just going to approach it the way I tried to play that game and go in with that focus and see if I can try and hurt her and see if I can nick a game, and then when you get a game the best of 3, then you only need one more, so that's the plan anyway. It looks like you've got big ambitions and real purpose out there as well. So what are your goals this season? What are you targeting as making it a great season for you? Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one. I'd love to break the top 20. That's a big goal of mine. try and push further up if I can. But to be honest, last season I had a lot of tight matches with a lot of top 10 players, and I want to try and get over the line in those matches. I'd love to try and win a couple of events as well, whether that be coppers or bronzes, and just try and play good squash. That's the priority really. And if you play good squash, like, the ranking does take care of itself. As much as it is a cliche, it is very much the truth.
Amazing stuff. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, how many times have we heard that cliche about the ranking take care of itself? They've just got to focus on those games one by one, tournament by tournament. Joey Barrington joins Peter Marshall here in the studio as well, and myself to preview the matches. We've obviously got lots to talk about there. Just first of all, a word on Georgia and how she did yesterday against Gina.
I was just thinking just then, she first came, I first saw her when she was 13 years of age. She came down to one of my dad's camps at Millfield School, and she was doing these court sprints, and I had to tell her to calm down because she was running so hard. And the level of effort and intensity was very evident at a young age. Now, yesterday it was an impressive performance, but I'm not particularly surprised that she got that win yesterday. She's been bubbling under quite a bit. She took out Naylor Gillis in New Zealand last season, so she's got the potential to take out some big players and move up, and that was a good scout for her, but I wasn't surprised.
Peter, any surprises there for you that she took out the #1 England player, Gina Kennedy?
I don't think so. As Joey said, she's been steadily improving. What I really like about her game as well is she's a very good athlete, but she gets on the ball very early, and then she's got some really good deception as well. And I think that could be, just a bit of an added touch for her. It's going to be difficult against Amina Wolfe, but she's got to be able to try and break at the game and use as much deception as possible to have a chance.
She played Amina Wolfe in June at the British Open in the second round, and the third game, Pete, she lost out on a tie-break, and it was very, very, very good that she finished strongly against Amina Wolfe. She's played her twice previously to that as well, but yeah, she's going to need to be on it. But she's a very, very physical player, and as you said, a lot of deception. So there's a lot of good elements there, Michael, for her game.
Here's some of those good elements. Here's how she beat Gina Kennedy yesterday. I'll let you guys take us through the action here. In that victory against Gina Kennedy, lost the first 6-11, but then went on to win the second 11-7 and the third 11-5.
I mean, Pete, there was no panic there, was there, after losing the first game? Best of 3 format is a bit of a speed charge match, and if you lose that first game, there can be a tendency to panic a little bit.
It can be, yeah. Best of 3 can be tough if you lose the first, but she looked incredibly relaxed, like you say, Joey, even after losing the first. And you can see here, she's moving at a really nice pace around the court, injecting pace when needed, and just really finding kind of good angles like this shot here, straight down the wall. She can't do anything with that shot at all.
No, I mean, there's the artillery's there. She's coached by Paul Bell, the Scottish national coach, and I mean, I feel ranking-wise, she can certainly go very deep into the top 16, and then once you get around there, the opportunities start to open up a bit more with the draws.
Yeah, it does, yeah. You just saw on the shot before here, an example of her deception where she flicks it cross-court and Gina didn't even move. So, yeah, I think she must be looking at this season as a real chance to have a really big breakthrough for her.
Exciting times for Scottish squash, for Georgia Adderley, who's obviously the Scottish #1 at the moment as well.
Yeah, and how will Gina Kennedy be feeling this morning, sort of maybe watching back that performance? She'll have done that as part of her analysis. Will she be disappointed, obviously, that she's not made it through to the quarterfinals?
I mean, she will be, but she's at this crossroads. She just started working with Rod Martin, only 2 weeks into it, thrown herself into a tournament. I mean, from a technical perspective, there's obviously big changes that he wants to implement. That would usually be done in the off-season, wouldn't it?
It would be, yes. It'll be, and so it's going to be difficult for her to have a new coach. I'm sure it will work out eventually for her, but it can take time. And I think the first tournament is always tricky. It can be tricky for a lot of people, and it wouldn't surprise me if she bounces back from this and then goes on a really good run. But it's a difficult change to change a coach.
I mean, it is, and she's got the physicality. She's had a few injury issues as well, but technically, I hope things click for her.
Yeah.
She's fantastic, obviously, for the women's game, and more importantly for England, being the English #1 and trying to fill all those big shoes that have come previously before her.
Yeah, not long to wait as well for Gina. She'll be back in action at the Egyptian Open, which gets going on the 8th. There's qualifications for all of that to get through to the tail end of that tournament. So let's tell you the breaking news if you're just joining us. #1 seed Olivia Weaver has withdrawn from the London Squash Classic due to injury. We think we might have located where she may have done it, and we don't know yet whether it was an injury she was carrying into the tournament, but the early signs are that this is possibly where she did it, Joey, yesterday in her match, or a couple of days ago in her match.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly unfortunate. I mean, she's prepared so well over the summer. I mean, she's leaving no stone unturned, but I mean, it's the luck of the draw, really. I mean, from the kind of rallies we're seeing, there's nothing massively in terms of, there's not like a slip or a massive lunge that might have put the body under pressure. She could have come into this event with a bit of a niggle or a slight bit of weakness in that adductor that then suddenly comes in court play. Pete, from a training aspect, you can replicate, but when you're on court playing at high intensity, you push your body to a little bit more of an extreme limit.
Yeah, it looked like it was that last movement in the back corner where she maybe just strained her abductor, and then you could see it in the movement forward. Obviously, she'll be massively disappointed with that. I just hope it's a minor injury. She can get over it quickly and kind of prepare. She's obviously put a lot of hard work in over the summer, and sometimes you can almost be too enthusiastic, too keen, and potentially train a little bit too hard. I'm not sure whether that's been the case or not.
You trained pretty hard in your career.
Yeah. So be interested. Hopefully, she can come back.
Hopefully, I mean, she's massive. She's the #1 seed here. She's the flag bearer, if you like, for US squash. We're going to LA in 2028. She's one of those players that we'd expect to see there, and she's really leading that charge along with the Sobey sisters, and she'd be a huge miss if it's anything serious.
It's a big test, mentally it's a big test. It's the beginning of the season. The events are coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
She wants to carry on as she left off. She left off brilliantly from last season, the best season she's ever had. But this is the test mentally. You know all about this, being ill, having chronic fatigue, having injuries, and then the test is how you come back from that. Yeah. She's had quite a plain. She hasn't had any really serious injuries yet on the PSA Squash Tour, and this could be one. Hopefully it's not.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
It's going to show mental fortitude and resilience.
It will do. I mean, I think it happens to every player at some point in their career. They have an illness, they have an injury. There's just no getting away from that. And like you just said, Joe, it's how you mentally cope with it and then bounce back. Nick Matthew, I remember, was out for a whole year, and he actually said during that period of time he actually improved his squash because he really looked back at his game, his tactics, his technique, and improved during that period. So it depends on how you mentally cope with it. But like you say, this is the first real test for Olivia Weaver in terms of an injury. So hopefully mentally she can cope with it, and also physically she can get back quickly.
What advice can you give? So have a player that's been in this position, you know how difficult it is. Are there sort of like top 3 tips that you could give any player that is coming back from injury, just to help with that mental side of it, as well as the physical side, because they've got to get their body back in, Nick, but it sounds like it's more of a physical journey they have to go on.
It does, yeah. I mean,
or a mental journey.
I mean, the first tip, sounds obvious, is patience. You've got to be patient, and she'll be itching to get out there straight away, and that'll be her first instinct. But she's going to have to listen to her physiotherapist, listen to her doctors, listen to the advice, and just be super careful. And just there's so many other things. It depends what type of injury it is, but there's so many other things you can do off court as well to keep in shape. She can go on the bike potentially. She can do other types of training, swimming. So I think it's getting into a mindset of doing other types of training to keep your match fitness up. She can also analyse the game. She can do endless analysis of her own game and technique and tactics. So it's just trying to think you're still progressing while you're injured. I think that's a good mental state.
She's the type of character that will need to improvise exercise. She's a fanatical exercise. She loves training, as I said. On holiday she'd have probably gone for a few runs. So exactly what Pete says, improvising the training. That was always something my dad, he did brilliantly. He was on canoes doing all sorts of upper body work and everything. And the fact we've got Squash TV, she can watch these players, analyse a bit more, as Pete said, and just strengthen up in certain areas. It's adaptability that's the key, and turning a negative obviously into a positive.
Yes, so Olivia Weaver, flag bearer for the US, but we can be excited about LA 28 as well, can't we? I know it's 3 years away, but that's going to come by in a flash.
It will do, yeah. I mean, it will come around in no time, and there's going to be a number of players playing today who, ultimately in the back of their mind, that's their main goal. Obviously, they've got lots of smaller goals before that, but that's their main goal. So
Mina Orfi, potential gold medalist. If she's only 18 years of age, she I don't know, in the back of her mind somewhere, she's got thinking, I'm 21 years old, gold medal. She's got the credentials to do it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can happen in 3 years.
Yes,
a lot can happen in 3 years. It will go quickly, but you never know. I mean, the PSA Squash Tour is the most prolific it's ever been. A lot of travelling, a lot of tournaments. The training, the breaks are less, so the bodies are under strain. We saw the amount of injuries.
I'm going to ask at that point: is there too much squash on the calendar, and that's why we see at the tail end of seasons the last 2 World Tour Finals, or the Squash Tour Finals as they're now known, and players have been dropping like flies in the final end of the season.
I think with the way that the tour has developed, you know, it's a bit of a spoiling now for the amount of events that have come up, and you know, with trying to raise the profile of the game, other countries are wanting to put, you know, tournaments on, and players, it's hard for players. Back in the day, players, Pete, would play a lot of leagues around Europe to fill in between tournaments, but you don't have that anymore. It is literally tournament to tournament. So I think they need to pick their tournaments, and it's a new status for them to get in that mindset of missing certain events. A prime example here is you haven't got El Hammami, you haven't got Shibini or Gohar. You know, previously they played this event, all three of them. So they've elected not to, and they're coming in for the diamond in Egypt, and that's what you'll see more of. It's going to be down to the players to pick their tournaments and their schedules cleverly.
What's that number? How many tournaments do you think players should be playing where they're keeping their body in nick, but they're keeping their world ranking up, and they're making it on that road to the finals and getting into the top 8 to get to the end of the season?
I mean, I would think you want to be playing between kind of probably 15, 16 tournaments a year that you're really trying to peak for. I think it's hard to do any more than that. But I think on the positive side for the tour, I think it's actually a good thing that some of the top players don't play some of the medium-sized tournaments, because then it really provides a bit of an added spice, and also more incentive to sponsors as well to make sure their prize money is even higher, to make sure they get the best players. So in a positive way, I think it's a good thing that some players miss some tournaments, especially the top ones, and then peak for the biggest prize money tournament.
And give opportunities to these players coming through from the Challenger Tour. You know, the tour needs to grow at the back end. You know, it's growing at the top end, it needs to grow at the back end, and it gives opportunities for players might not get to play on a stage like this in a lower ranking, and get that experience and let them shine.
Someone that almost toppled off this stage yesterday was New Zealand's Coll, Superman. Almost came crashing down in his match here. The number 2 seed, so close to coming out against Amalgar here. And you guys are going to just talk us through this again as to how close this was.
Well, I mean, it was incredibly close. He had 2 match balls, Michael. So I mean, you can't get closer than that. Now, Abu Al-Ghai, he had a situation at the British Open in 2017. He led Ramir Shaw by 2 games to love and was 9-all in the third, and he hit 2 tins and lost it 3-2. Now, this is the issue he has. He's got an unbelievable skill set, but this has been his Achilles heel the whole time throughout his career. To flip it on the other side of the coin, Coll, under tremendous pressure as the defending champion, managed to be rock steady and get through. So you also got to appreciate the Kiwi keeping calm and managing to get through this one, which will put him in good stead for the rest of the tournament, because he's had that sudden adrenaline rush of, oh my goodness me, I could be going out the event, and he'll probably relax through a bit more and play better squash.
Exactly, yeah. I think I saw Paul Coll briefly this morning. He looked extremely relaxed, just because you've got that tension that kind of goes away from you. So it wouldn't surprise me if he puts in some really good performances now. Now he's almost not want to say he feels lucky, but he just feels very grateful to be able to get through that match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because there's obviously big names here, and the pressure with Diego and Joel Makin as well. So it's good. Paul Coll's got a great hunting ground. I mean, he's been prolific in the UK. All major events, pretty much won in the UK.
What do you put that down to? So he just loves coming to London. He's got friends and I think family here as well, or extended family.
I mean, he's got, Rob Owens is coach in Birmingham. He's got the familiarity of that. He's played a lot of leagues in England. He's only over in Holland, and he comes over.
How often will he come over to the UK to train?
I mean, it's for stints and starts whenever he's got the time, really.
I mean, calendar,
it was more in the early days. He probably speaks a lot on the phone and does a lot of, kind of analysis through that. But when he wants to come over, he'll come over for periods of time, maybe a week or so or something at one time.
Yeah, I think so. I think he comes over for kind of 4 or 5 day blocks and does some good training. But he's also got some very good training in Holland as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's got a good balance of good training in Holland, good training over here as well. And he obviously just feels very comfortable in this environment in the UK.
Okay, we're just gearing up for the first match of the day. 1 p.m. we get going, so just a couple of minutes to wait. You might have to get ready to switch over to SQUASHTV. We are live on YouTube currently. It's day 4, quarterfinals day. First match, Tesney Murphy against Satomi Watanabe. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Peter, so I'll come to Joey first. What do you make of that matchup?
I mean, it's going to be a belter. I mean, I find it quite quite amazing that Pete is her practice partner. So Pete turns up with the samurai sword as well, and he's got more the samurai swing with the double hands, but he knows her incredibly well. She's one of my very favourite players. I think her style of game is great, the way it's evolving. I do think she'll have too much artillery for Tesni, but Tesni is very crafty, and the best of 3 format will suit Tesni against Satomi. If she can get that first game, she could, there could be a few butterflies in the stomach of Watanabe, and Tesni Evans could cause some issues, but I think it will be a Watanabe win.
Peter?
I agree with Jerry. I'm going for Satomi 2-1, and as Jerry said, I've got a slight vested interest with Satomi because I do train with her and play with her and chat to her quite a lot. So on a personal view, I'm looking for her to do well today and the rest of the tournament.
Brilliant, awesome pre-show, guys. We'll let you get on with your day job, and we'll switch over to Squash TV. Remember, you can get your subscriptions squash.tv, and we will see you over there very shortly for the preview of this match here on Day 3 quarterfinals day. Good afternoon, it's Day 4 quarterfinals day of this year's London Squash Classic 2025.